Put it by the door now.
By
About the door now. That was.
Oh, we're about to film.
Doctor.
Hi.
Yes.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay, can y'all?
Is your phone off?
Yeah, mine's
Mine's
off.
is
That's
off.
why I was like, I was hearing some other.
Yeah, but yours was the one that vibrated.
4, 3, 2.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Rashawn Broadnax.
I'm Dr. Riley Knox.
Hey, y'all. I'm not a doctor, but I'm.
Yeah, okay, but I happen to be.
Riley Knox.
I'm Ernest Collins.
Good evening.
And welcome to CNN.
When someone shows you.
Yes. Good evening. I'm Shayna Taylor from the House of Taylors, the first of her name, and mother of Lola.
Mother of what?
And mother of Lola.
Hi, I'm Alvin King, and welcome to We Speak.
Trying to run away.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to We Speak. Our last few shows that we've had, we've been very topic-driven, mainly on the topic of social media and what it's doing to us. Tonight, we are going to have I Speak, where we're going to give you the topics right from our mouths. The producer hasn't given us any script, and we're just going to roll with it. So I'm just going to throw my hands up, and whoever wants to go into the first I Speak, please do.
I want to speak about the producer. No, I'm just kidding. Talk about something crazy. He's going to edit us out. But I want to go back to kind of one of the topics we talked about before on one of our shows, but we've got updated information.
Okay.
Wendy Williams.
Okay. Oh.
Wendy Williams.
Okay, come through.
Yes.
So finally,
Yes, finally, we heard that.
It's your topic. Finish it.
okay.
Even though I saw her last.
You did see her last. Did she tell you the truth then?
No, but she looked amazing, and she looked like she has everything under control, and it did not look like a put on. Like she stood its closest right here, and now I also thought like, oh, maybe she's just really professional. But then I started watching all the shows that have come after that, or after she announced her divorce, and she's been making all these little subliminal comments.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's the cutest thing because it's like, I like this Wendy a lot. I feel like she's going to be just fine. I feel like she feels free and like she is going to, like we're going to see a different side of her because we don't know single Wendy.
I think she'll be better off. And finally, now he's off the set.
Yes.
So now he's
been
no longer going to be.
no longer her manager.
After he was served.
Yeah. Yeah.
On
So she
set.
fired
On
him?
set.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but didn't he own?
Yeah, but they're
It was
trying to get him out of the
probably,
contract.
they probably decided to do it mutually.
A mutual
like,
release.
You
Okay.
know,
Some type of
I don't need to be there, and you don't want me there, and everything will be better if I'm not. You know, because clearly. So I know people who work on the show, and
give us a tea.
they all say that it's his presence kind of brings everything down. He has a very controlling presence, and he is almost like controls her, not so much like do this, but his presence, and she kind of clams a little bit.
Right.
You know, so what we see on television is not what they see, you know, backstage all the time. And now it is that it's starting to change. And like you said, with the comments, she seems a lot freer to be who she wants to be. And really, I think we're going to see a morph of the show. We're going to see the actual Wendy Williams show.
Well, I hope it's not. I hope it's not an act. I hope, because I mean, she is kind of, you know, putting herself out there, being more vulnerable, talking about, you know, her addiction and how she spends her evenings and all that. And I just hope that she is happy, that she's not putting forth this persona for her audience.
I feel like, and I hope that she's going to use this experience and tell her experience a tell-all book or some kind of way. Like, she's smart, so she's probably what everybody's been waiting for her to give details and all that stuff. I think she's probably going to eventually do that in a book or something.
That would be good.
I'm not that easily convinced because she sold us this before. Everything is great. I'm not this. I'm not that. Well, now all of a sudden everything is great. That's not good enough because you're telling me now. I think that's because a lot of people want well for her. No disrespect, Roddy. I think you want well for her, and those that really like her want well for her. But the reality is, I don't trust that easily or this quickly that this isn't some other type of show. This isn't some other type of, keep my radio,
you went
keep my
from
gig
being
going.
down here now all of a sudden.
Well, I think naturally we do that. So naturally we don't want to put out the worst. We want to personally be okay. So I think she's in that space, but also she is okay because she realizes that was not what she needed. It wasn't beneficial for her. And I think she's realized how much or what it kind of did to her to stay in that relationship, but then also not speak about it. And so her saying, everything is fine was really, I'm not going to share my business. But one thing like that I enjoyed that she said the other day was like what we said before. She kept saying that the nature of the show is really their business is our business. And now she's saying my business is your business.
She said turnabout's fair game, so now my business is your business.
So I think she's in that changing mode where of course she's not going to be like, okay, now these are all the salacious details.
Yeah.
But it's that slow change of the show because she is changing.
But it's like I've said on here before, especially now that she's announced that she's about to get divorced, she's going through a divorce. Anybody who's been through a divorce can tell you that it is quite a process. It's quite it can be one of the hardest things that you have to go through is going through a divorce. So while you're in it, you don't want to talk about it while you're in it publicly. And also think about it. The terms of her divorce could be jeopardized from her talking too much about it. Right. It's because she's a public figure. You know what I mean? It's like, let me get everything in order and let me give him whatever I'm going to give him and not let it be influenced by me running my mouth too much on the show.
Right.
And then also realizing that her son
She has a
of an
son.
older age.
And
so
yes.
I wondered as I was watching it,
I
I
thought of that
said, were you didn't want to make a big exit or make this much bigger than it could have been for the sake of your child. Any parent wants to protect their child and to kind of, even though we know that this is going on, to kind of shield him from the detail of it. Right.
It's still his father.
Was what she was trying to do. But also now that he's a little older, and I think he goes off to school next year.
He's in college now.
Is he in college?
Yes.
Okay, so she is making that the distinction that chapter is okay to close that chapter.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. But
now we're happy for her. And
we're happy for her.
You guys are.
You guys are happy.
Do you watch the show?
Oh, you're not happy for her?
I still have issues with Wendy, not to stay on the
Do you watch the show?
I'll glance through every now and then just to see if she's there, and I'll keep going.
So you don't watch the show, so you don't even know what we're talking about.
I'm in tune better than that other subject we talked about. But the thing is, look how many other lives she's ruined. Look how many other kids. I go back to Sean Diddy Combs when I read the book and all the stuff that she said. She's injured a lot of people. She's messed a lot of people up. So it's kind of hard for me to muster up a lot of sympathy for her, knowing all the stuff that I call this karma, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think she's asking for sympathy, though.
It's karma. And if karma is what karma is,
let karma do its thing.
Let karma do what it's supposed to do. Okay.
Well, Tookie Williams started the Crips. Tookie Williams started the Crips and then got sentenced for some stuff that he didn't do, and they gave him life and they gave him the death penalty. He turned his life around, wrote children's books, won a Nobel Peace Prize, and they still executed him.
Correct.
So the point is that we change, we grow, but people don't always care. And what your sentence was or what your karma was is going to be.
It's going to be yours.
God, you guys are something else, man.
So
I want to go sit here and watch, too. I mean, you guys are really you guys are defending, and you're saying what I want to say. You're defending what I don't know. I mean, I think that's cool. That's good.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It's called I Speak.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, while we're talking about great women, it appears,
because Tookie Williams is a great woman.
While we're talking about great women, I recently went to see. Now I am not an Aretha Franklin fan.
Either.
I'm not an Aretha Franklin fan. again, I give her props for all that she's done and whatnot, her funeral and all that kind of stuff that people are still embracing and going over. I sometimes don't get it, but last week I went to see Amazing Grace, the documentary. And you don't have to like Aretha Franklin to enjoy this documentary. That 1 hour and 20 minutes will change your life about Aretha Franklin. Really? I mean, because back in the day, they didn't have all that studio stuff. Right. She recorded that album. It's about her recording of Amazing Grace in a church.
Yeah.
And literally, they didn't have all the sound and studio. I mean, somebody dropped water on the wire and almost cut out the whole. There are moments in that movie that when you walk away, you go, wow. But her voice and her singing and just her mannerisms that before she became Aretha Franklin, and she was already Aretha Franklin because by the time she did that, she had 7 Grammys and like 21 hits. Again, there are moments that you'll take away that as an artist, I'm going to say as an artist, that you'll look at that and you'll go, wow, that happened. And to see a choir sitting down singing like this, and singing notes going all over this place. And Aretha Franklin, again, you just have to see, because I could go in and it would sound boring. Like you said, it's all taking place in a church. And Spike Lee did an amazing job on this movie. Yeah,
I'm going to watch it. And then when next we speak,
I'll
let you know.
I have an I Speak. My I Speak is about my favorite celebrity. Not Beyonce, honey.
Not me?
No.
Not me?
Not Beyonce.
I told you not to talk about me.
No, that's not me.
Okay, go ahead.
It is about KKW. Okay. Mrs. Kimberly Noel Kardashian West is going to law school. Well, she's going to take the bar. Not going to law school. She's going to take the bar to become a lawyer. And
has she gone to law school already?
You don't have to. First of all, let me sell you on this.
You don't have to if you can pass it, but more often than not, you won't pass it.
But
I'm trying to figure out.
She's doing an apprenticeship, and in certain states you can do an apprenticeship, and San Francisco is that city that you can do that. And she is going to go through, I think, a 4-year apprenticeship studying. She's got all her books and torts and all these things that she has to do to become a lawyer, to do, and the reason that first of all, she's following the footsteps of her dad. Right. But she's always, if you've even watched the show, I know you haven't, but you see that she has always been into investigations and forensics and all. She's always had a thing for that. She even said, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now, I would be, an investigator. And so she is going to use that to what she is. I can't talk right now, but to help her do what she's already doing. I'm excited for her because she's doing her work with prison reform, and getting people out of prison, and helping shorten sentences and all that. So she's going to now use that, because when she was doing that work before, she had to have the lawyers with her, and there's a lot of things she didn't understand, and they had to explain to her. So now she's going to dedicate the next 4 years to doing that, so she can still take her nudes and still do good in the world. So
does she have? Do you know if she's? What type of lawyer she's going to become a lawyer? What type of lawyer she's going to study?
It's civil rights lawyer.
Yeah.
So do you really think that she can actually be? That she's gonna no.
Is she gonna? I think she'll pass it. But I believe she can pass the bar. She's gonna actually go in courtrooms and fight cases.
But that's my thing, because
that was also a question that they had.
Right.
Well, that's what they, and she might be really distracting, but her law degree will help her with the work that she's already doing.
Okay. Very good.
I'm trying to give her props for even going back to school or going, what I'm saying. And then
it doesn't sound like she's going back to school.
She's not going back to school,
but I mean at a level.
She's really serious about this prison reform.
I'm trying to give her props for this.
Yeah.
You're just
what do you mean you're trying? Can't you just give her props for it?
No, because I have some doubt about.
Okay, so here's the thing.
And you're bypassing the system. Like all these lawyers that have studied and done the work and gotten the education, and then now she wants to circumvent all of that.
But there's a lot of things that people don't have to, that people do that you don't think, like, you really needed 4 years for this. Like,
well,
there are people, but there are people.
Some of them are paying for it by sitting there.
Well, I want my doctor to have gone to, but what I'm saying is
you're your doctor, but not your lawyer?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
She's not going to a traditional school, but she will be studying law.
But see, that's what that was my question.
She's just going.
I'm not sure. I keep looking like, did we talk about this? But
No,
I
we
may have
didn't.
watched
This is
it
new.
on a
Yeah.
television. I
Yeah.
think because I was watching y'all know I watch a lot of TV now.
Yeah.
So
You don't even know when
I
you're
was
watching yourself or
Right.
you're actually in it.
Because you tweet at night.
Oh God! But so I was watching the reel the other day, and I think they talked about
Yes.
it, and that was the situation because one of the ladies, she said the same thing that I said. I was like, okay, so how you just gonna decide you're gonna do an apprenticeship, go take the bar, and be a lawyer?
There are some states that you can do
and
that
so
in.
that was what was brought up. They said that California happens to be one of the states where you can do that. So now, though, I think it was maybe today, there was some mention of her studying for an exam. And so I'm wondering, like, what exam are you studying for now? Is it like
Who is this, Kim Kardashian?
Yes. Is this like a LSAT, you know, like something preliminary before you can go into an apprenticeship? Or what's actually going on? So I have a lot of questions about it. You know, I give her the props for wanting to do it.
I'm giving her the props.
But
Oh, you're giving them to her now. You don't just want to.
Because
You know what I was about to go into?
I know.
What I was going to go into,
I'm
what we were
about-
talking about before, where we want to hold people prisoner to their past. You know?
No, it
Well,
has
I
nothing
don't
to do
think
with that. But
why do you want to give her props, but you?
Because
she's doing such good, but you don't.
No,
you can't just give her props.
I guess one is really on it, but when I'm not, when something that isn't like
Are you questioning the motive?
something's not, it
Something
doesn't
not
feel
right.
good.
Well,
It's
I
like
said the
Jesse
same
Smollett.
thing.
Something ain't feel good.
Something ain't right.
Something ain't feel good.
So
yeah.
something doesn't feel right about her wanting to do good, or wanting to change her image, or change her, or but actually, it's not even a change because it's something she's always been passionate about.
Here's what I don't want. I don't want this to be another Felicity Hoffman situation where
You bought your way into
she
it.
bought her
She's
way.
not.
Well,
And see, that's what I
all I'm saying.
thought.
Same thing
I was
That's all
thinking
I'm
that.
saying. I don't want to happen. I love all the great things that she's doing,
Yeah.
all the people that she's getting out, and she's been doing that.
This is just another. Here's the thing: she didn't have to go to school
I love the fact
to
of
help
that.
to do the work that she's doing. She
Correct.
wanted to have this
Have
so
the
that she
knowledge
can
herself.
exactly so that she
Better
can
grasp.
do more than what she's already doing. It's not like she's trying to use. It's not like, oh, I just want to say I'm going to just so I, you know. It's because I'm using it to do something good.
Well, see, part
I'm
of
not
it, I
buying
think
a
she
law
needs
degree
to come out
just
and
to have
kind of
one.
say that, because from the way things have been laid out,
I don't think she needs to come out and say that.
Well, I mean, but people would better understand. So, like you said, we're discussing it now. We all had a different understanding of what was going on, and when they first said it, the report was, oh, Kim Kardashian is going to work at a law firm because she wants to be.
Hold
now,
that
Lord, she's gonna
thought.
okay.
Hold that thought, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we have some more to say about Kim Kardashian. Stay with us.
I am courageous.
I am stylish.
I am conscious.
I am a trailblazer.
I am the greatest. I'm dedicated.
I am dominant.
Music is everywhere, especially at my school.
Education Through Music Los Angeles partners with inner city schools to put music into the classroom, where music belongs.
Music is my favorite subject. My mom says it wakes up my brain. Math is kind of easier now. Next year I get to learn guitar.
Support our music programs. Please visit etmla.org.
Music is everywhere.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we went to a commercial break, we were talking about Kim Kardashian West moving forward to receive her a law degree, and we all of us have a difference.
I have
of
come to a
opinion
conclusion while we were on break.
about it. Okay.
It does not matter on this show how many times I tried to sell you on this woman being a wonderful person and doing all this stuff, because you guys already have your preconceived notions because of how we met her. No one's going to want to give her props.
No. I can't.
Because every time I bring up something, here comes the negativity.
But you've never heard me say anything like, okay, well, Kim, this, anything other than the topic that we're on. I've long passed her tapes and all that kind of stuff. She's a married mother now.
That's irrelevant.
I have never heard
I give
anybody
her props
say
for being
Kim
a mother.
Kardashian or Kim Kardashian West is smart.
Absolutely.
Like, I've never heard anybody say she was smart.
I have.
And in my mind, I mean, I think
I watch the show,
people have said that she's good at business.
Right.
But book smart and business smart are different.
They're different.
And a law degree is that book smart. And a lot of people don't have it. They can have all these other experiences.
Well, this is her
and all
opportunity
this
to
other
prove
greatness.
to people that she does
and
have
not buy it.
And if nothing else, I'll just say I commend her for trying it, because nothing beats a failure but a try. So as long as she, like we said, it doesn't impede her from doing what she's been doing. She wants to try to take it a step further. If she does not quite hit her mark, so be it. She put forth the effort, and I think for her that may be enough.
And I will say this, when we first met her 14 years ago, I'm sure nobody thought that 14 years later that she was going to be working with prison reform and getting people out and shortening sentences and doing all this great work. I'm sure no one thought
That's
that.
true.
Well, I'm going to put the
she's
gavel.
made it happen.
We're going to put the gavel down on that one, because that could be another talk show. She's been doing great things, but there's also been reasons why she's doing what she's doing. And I don't think she's doing what she's doing was because it was solely on Kim Kardashian herself. She's had, Kanye West just being involved with this presidency the way he has kind of, in my opinion, has kind of moved her in that circle too, to save him, because he looks like an idiot. And so he has come off that way. And America has seen him that way, and I think that was her way of protecting him. Not to say that she wasn't doing it for her own.
And I love that for her. I love that for her.
I don't believe that's the case, because I study, I follow her very closely. I study, right? I follow her very closely, so I know that's not the case. But even if that was, it's still doing something good.
I give her props
for whatever
that.
reason. And when she went to go see the president, to say, she said, I made it very clear to him that my views are my views, and they're separate from his. They are not the same. And even though Kanye supports him, this is me coming to you for something different. Because I was at Hillary rallies, you know. So she's like, I want it to be very clear on policy. You know, what I believe in is very separate. This is separate from what I'm doing. I need his help to get this work done, but I want to be very clear. She made that very clear to his son-in-law, like that this is what I'm here to do.
Well, I certainly don't hold her past against her. That has nothing to do with I can't even say that I don't like her, because I would never say that. Yeah, I would never say that. So no, believe me, that's not what I'm saying. So, any I speaks, anybody? Because you sure have a lot to say. What was your I speak?
Well, you know what? I did have something that has kind of happened to me recently, and I said, I think about it a lot, but it's in terms of.
We
sit here going, okay, well, speak. Okay, what?
When people want you to get beyond a situation quicker than you're ready.
Oh, right.
Ooh.
Is that a good one?
Ooh, that's good.
So,
give
us an example.
Yeah, give us a guess.
I'm going to try to skirt around the example, because I don't want to give too much detail about it.
Okay.
But, when things happen, say with friendships, and you may be upset about something, and the other person doesn't see you're upset in the same way. But they feel like, well, okay, you should get over it. But you can't, because you have not healed whatever your hurt is. Right. So you need time to process in your own time, and their time is not your time. So they're able to, and oftentimes because they may be the one who caused the hurt, they don't see it that way, or they don't experience it in the same way that you do.
And we all deal with things differently.
Exactly. So their thing is like, okay, get over it. And you're like, I can't yet. Not that I don't like to say I'm not ready, because that means I look at I'm not ready as in I'm holding myself back, but I haven't worked it through to get to that place yet. So it becomes a process.
Are you at a place in your, with saying that, are you at a place in your life that you can say when someone comes at you that way, you can tell them, I don't owe you an explanation for how I feel, that I feel like this.
That.
And that's that. Are you at a place in your life
as my name?
because that's an
absolutely
honest, okay.
But I guess the issue that I have is when it goes beyond that. So here, you should get over it. I'm not there yet.
I'm trying to ruffle your skirt that you won't let go.
This skirt is clearly.
I ruffle that skirt.
But you know what I'm saying? So you're telling me get over it. I'm telling you I'm not there yet. But you're persistent. So then it becomes an issue. That becomes part of an issue of you're trying to force me to move beyond, and I have not processed.
Do you question their motives, or even question the person who's challenging you about your feelings? Do you think, well,
the reason why I say that
why are you doing this?
I feel that their motives, I wouldn't say are nefarious motives, but because they don't view the hurt, the upset in the same way, to them it's not as great. So, you know, I may do something to you, I see it as, oh, that was wrong, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And you might be like, well, you were my friend, you really hurt me. So we view the upset in two different ways. So in a week, I'll be like, child, Alvin should be over that. And you're like, not quite. So now I'm telling you, well, Alvin, get over it. And you're saying, I can't yet.
No.
And so that becomes the battle.
Right. You just don't spend time around that person until you're over.
Until you,
you
got to, I agree. You have to disconnect, because if that person is pressing buttons that, again, are you at a place?
As sure as my name.
You know what I'm saying? Because I keep going back to that, because, you know, I've had people when someone tells you you should feel a certain way and you should look a certain way, you should do a certain something, that's a control issue right there. And you have to know when to cut that off. And sometimes the people who want to control you most are the ones that's closest to you.
Oh, they had those new commercials. Have you seen those new commercials about that whole topic?
No.
So apparently there is some type of nonprofit where they're kind of pushing about how that's a form of domestic abuse, how when people are controlling you. So in the commercial, they're talking about, oh, you better be glad I love you, I'll let you get away with that this time. Oh, because I love you, I'll accept this, or because I love you, it's this. And so at the end, I think it's basically like, this is not love.
Right.
Because they're trying to remind people that there are so many subtle different ways that people control you and mistreat you.
And a perfect
and we
example,
don't pay attention.
I have a high school friend that I went with, and as we've gotten older, you know, used to always be like the class clown of everything. Well, now we're older, and you have to transition, you have to move forward from being that whatever you were then to now. So whenever I come to town, it's an issue when I don't get over there to see them or something else comes up. This, unfortunately, because I love myself this much, has basically forced me to, I guess, walk away from our friendship of almost over 40 years. You know, once again, it's about a control issue for me, and I'm not afraid to walk away at all. I'm not afraid to walk away at all. But when someone tries to bully you, as opposed to, I mean, making it seem like, for example, when I came to town, if I didn't come see this person, and all my friends when I come to town, they'll come see me. I mean, if I can't make it, I'm here, you come see me. But if I don't, anyway, bottom line, I went there the last time, and I got so frustrated, and I carried this for so long. That's why I said I'm glad you pulled this up. That I had to, I mean, it was hard to even function daily because I didn't say or do the things that I thought I should say or do. At this point, I've kind of closed it out, and it's okay to walk away from things that you don't necessarily agree with, that you've outgrown, you know, and that's kind of like where I am. It kind of sucks, you know, but in essence, I mean, the stronger, I don't know, I guess the stronger person will analyze the situation and make a decision as far as walking away or staying. And unfortunately, in this case, it wasn't worth staying. And I think the part that I struggle with is I haven't really put clarity in it. You know, I really haven't said that just yet.
Right.
Well,
I think
and you use the word walk away. I certainly wouldn't. Well, first of all, I'm not going to tell you how to handle it. You know, I just think in you bringing that up, it just makes me think that, you know, you have to get to a place in your life when people do that and you recognize it and it makes you feel a certain way. Then you have to take control of it.
Well, I'll say this just to make it clear. It has been handled. I just thought about it as, you know, something, because as I look at other people and people talk, you know, you hear that people have similar issues. And like I was sharing with someone today about a relationship, I said relationships are a partnership, meaning that some have to, one has to give, the other one has to take, and back and forward. Once you realize that there are things of major importance that you cannot, that either party is not willing to give or take on, then the relationship sometimes needs to fall apart. And so I look at, like, apply that to the situation where you said, you may have a friend that you have been friends with for 40 years, you grow. Sometimes we outgrow our friends. Absolutely. And unfortunately, you know, I think in good cases we can continue to grow beyond them but still kind of keep them around. But sometimes the friend doesn't allow that to happen because they become discontent with the growth. Or because to them, the growth represents separation.
Okay.
You know, so you start to, you're growing and you're progressing, but they're seeing it as you're leaving me behind, as opposed to I'm not growing and progressing. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it, and I look at like relationships as such as well. Sometimes we get together in moments and everything is fine, and the relationship or coming together is great for whatever's going on at that particular time. But as things start to change, the relationship may not grow together. The two people may not grow together. One may grow and supersede the other.
Well, that's why they call it a relationship.
Yeah.
That's why they call it that. So, well, thank you, because you started this. It was very passionate. I was like, you went to a place where that kind of took me to a. And since you're driving, I speak. Okay, lately, now all of us love Uber and Lyft. We love Uber and Lyft, and I think it's a wonderful thing. But every time I hear about someone, and I'm not advocating hurting anybody for any reason, but when I hear that people have been raped or murdered or been with friends and got drunk and went to get Uber and got in the wrong car, and then they're dead or they're raped. The first thing I think, how can that have been avoided? How, I mean, I go out, I get Uber, I'd be darned if I'm gonna get in the car and somebody doesn't call my name first, Alvin, or I look at the, you know, their tag to make sure. Right. And Uber and Lyft, I think, have done a lot to enhance safety. Yes. They call you, they have, you know, things, but these people are getting killed. I mean, this last girl who got killed, it just, for some reason, I don't know her, this college student, it just touched me. You're with a group of friends, you're out getting drunk, you go out, and the first car you see, you get in.
But see, that's the problem.
You're not paying attention.
Because the judgment is impaired. And see, that's what I say for a lot of people. Uber is great, but we have to realize that we're still talking to strangers. You are now sharing a personal space with someone you have no idea who they are. When you get into somebody's car, didn't your parents always say, be careful getting into so-and-so's car?
Yeah, but these people are getting in cars of people who are not the Uber drivers that they call.
Because they're drunk.
They're not paying attention.
So they're not, like you said, they're not paying attention enough to say, oh, that tag number is this, let me look at my phone. It's not working for them at the moment.
Well, you know that all accidents happen because someone's not paying attention?
Yeah, and I don't want to put it on all alcohol either, or some type of intoxication or something.
Some people just
not paying attention. And you do
talking
that.
on the
But
phone.
see, here's the thing: we live in a world where you don't have the luxury of not paying attention.
True. I agree.
You cannot, like, if you know you're about to get into an Uber with a stranger, like you said, this is, and I take it every day, all day, sometimes 4 and 5 times a day. I make sure that the car matches the car in the description and the color. I make sure the tag matches, and I also make sure that the picture matches the person's car.
Right.
And when I get in the car, I ask him what his name is, and I say my name also.
That's right.
So you know you got the right person, and I've got the right person.
Right.
And I like to see my name on their phone because it's
Right.
sitting right
It's right
there.
there.
It's right there.
I
It
want to
says
see
Riley.
my
Pick
name.
up Riley.
I mean, you know, if I look at my phone and Darnell doesn't look like Darnell, or you know, on that picture, then I'm going to have issues with it, and I'm not going to get into the car, and that's going to change.
And you should.
The whole
That should
scope
be
of my
a
ride.
flag.
Yeah.
But for some people, they'll see that, and we have a natural spidey sense that comes up, and people just push through it, and they just think, I'm in a rush, I gotta get to where I'm going, and they'll justify it and make up all these excuses.
But you can't.
You cannot.
And you
'cause
know what?
have to
Most
be
of the
fed.
people that this is happening to are people who are either intoxicated, not paying attention, just out partying, doing all this stuff. And if you're in a group of people, like I had an Uber driver tell me a story about how this girl was really drunk. I mean, like so drunk that she was like blacked out drunk. Her friends called her an Uber, had her purse, put her in the Uber. He had to take her. She was so drunk that she had, when he got to the house, he had to walk her up the steps and like, you know, I think she had a roommate or something, so he knocked on the door, like whatever. Do you know how dangerous that is?
Absolutely.
And he said he was nervous the
Do
whole
that to
time
your
because
friends.
here he was, a black man, driving a white woman whose friends just pushed her into the car.
Right.
And I said, well, did she at first he was like, oh gosh, is she going to throw up in my car? It's going to have that smell and, you know, the feed, whatever. But it was more of the fact, like, he's like, I have daughters. Like, I can imagine, you know, like, why didn't somebody get with her, like her friends? Like, how, your friends you don't have real friends.
Well, those aren't friends.
Well, let me just say this. I
Those
had a
aren't friends.
similar incident, but I looked at it the other way. I said, I think it was a blessing for her that she got me, because I am, like I said, I like to think, how would I want to be treated? So if I were ever in that type of situation, I would hope that if I was to that point, drunk to that point, that somebody would be caring enough to kind of care for me to my door. Not, you know, to my physical door, but at least get me home and say, hey, you know, you're home, can you get in the house? You know, or what can we do to kind of get you in the house? So I kind of looked at it from that standpoint.
Well, I mean, we're going to go to a commercial break, but I think what we are driving home here is that people, you need to be safe and take responsibility for your actions, because that last Uber ride might be your last Uber ride.
But wait a minute.
We'll be right back.
In one word, communities and schools is connection.
Relentless.
Hope.
Humbling.
Okay, cut. Let's try one where you seem like you're happy to be here.
Humbling.
Good enough.
Like the name says, I'm bringing the power of community into schools. My job is about building one-on-one relationships that help kids write their own story and shape their future.
And I'm a celebrity spokesperson, which is also a very important role.
Because some kids come to school with adult-sized problems, we do whatever it takes to help them show up for school, focus on learning, and see their own potential for success.
My mom was a single parent and struggled to make ends meet for her children. Communities and schools provided me with food bags every week to ensure I didn't go hungry.
Ooh! My personal chef makes this amazing gluten-free pasta, which tastes like it's made out of nothing but gluten. He can come make that for you outside of my eating hours.
By being in schools full-time, we see the real reasons why kids don't show up to school and can help get to the root of the problem.
We keep a closet stocked with clothing for any child that needs a new pair of shoes or a warm jacket.
Ooh, I got this tracksuit, but it's made out of bees. Wore it to the Emmys last year underneath my tuxedo. It was real tight, right? Point is, it's lightly used. You guys can have that if you want.
Like we said, we help provide the essentials.
Look, I'm just saying the thing's worth like $30,000. And I heard once the winter hits and the bees dies, it'll be like $70 million. It's not true, I made it up. I'm saying it's gonna be a lot of money.
We will make doctor's appointments for children, and we'll even drive them.
Oh,
Like an assistant.
Yo, come on.
Well, you can use mine to grab your dry cleaning, but only if he's already out getting my dry cleaning. If you want a green juice or something, he can probably hook you up with something.
Cut.
What's up?
Okay, that's enough. Thanks so much. It's
All right.
not working out, so have a good one.
You firing me?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Nothing is more important than being there for a child.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
Which is why we don't need a celebrity spokesperson. We need you.
Go to communitiesandschools.org to find out how you can help.
Music is everywhere, especially at my school.
Education through Music Los Angeles partners with inner city schools to put music into the classroom, where music belongs.
Music is my favorite subject. My mom says it wakes up my brain. Math is kinda easier now. Next year I get to learn guitar.
Support our music programs. Please visit etmla.org.
Music is everywhere.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we went to a break, we were talking about, you know, the problems that that's going around right now with people getting in Ubers and Lyfts and all that, and just created a irresponsibly bad situation for them, and people have lost their lives. So we do have some more that we want to talk about on that topic.
A few years ago, I drove Uber, and one of the scary things for me, I picked up in a part of Virginia, and this drunk Caucasian lady gets in the car, young lady, and she kind of told me where she was going, and then she drifts off and falls asleep. So when I get halfway to her residence, she wakes up and she's like, "Where am I?" Well, as a black man, my heart started beating. And I'm like, oh my God. And I love you. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to get this lady somewhere, you know? Anything could have happened. Now, me not thinking like the other person I'm going to talk about, my position was to get her where she had to be and get her out of my car, you know, make sure she got where she's going. But my other thing is like, not only, you know, you getting into a car, when a person accidentally gets into your car, what person decides that I'm going to take this person's life? That's my question.
Maybe they were already hoping a predator lurking around in a car that looks like it could be an Uber and thinking, oh, well, now I got somebody. Like predators, you know they do that. They go looking for prey.
And that's a great idea.
Or how about a car that, you know, they all have the stickers, so you are a legitimate Uber driver.
You're just not her Uber driver.
You're not on the clock right now. Right. So I'm just pulling up, like you said, praying and looking for anybody. If I pull up to a crowd and slow down, somebody might come and tag my jaw.
You know, there's something in the news right now about a woman who lives in Bethesda who came out of a club and she got in the wrong car, and when she got to, she realized that the car she was in wasn't going to her house. She said she even told him how to get to her place in Bethesda. Got to her place in Bethesda, she got out and he got out and chased her to the door, and this is all on camera at her building. And he went up into her apartment and robbed her of her Rolex watches and everything because she felt helpless. Now see, first of all, there was nothing about, she didn't scream, she didn't do, and so I'm looking at the film and I'm going, what is going on here? How could this have been prevented?
Did you hear her commentary?
I heard her commentary, which made me even cringe even more.
Like she said she assumes that she was in a state of shock because it didn't come to her to scream. But when I looked at the video,
at which time? When he was trying to get in the elevator, when he was trying to get in her door, when he was getting in her front door, the elevator, her apartment.
I'm saying.
You were so perplexed all that whole elevator ride up that you couldn't scream?
I watched too much CSI and all them shows, the first thing I thought about when I saw her, I said, girl, don't let them take you to the secondary location.
Yes.
So when she got out the car and, you know, she had the fob to get in her building, she said that he said, hey, you haven't paid. I said, logically, what do you mean I haven't paid? I don't have to pay you. It's going to automatic. So, okay. So she said when she got in her door, she thought the door was going to close, but he pulled it and came into the lobby area. You were not going to go beyond that, because that's where I'm going to raise the commotion and whatnot, as you're still telling me I haven't paid you. You're trying to show me on the phone. But she went ahead, and I guess her thought was, let me get away from him. So she pushes the button to the elevator. The elevator doors open. He's still talking about, you haven't paid me. He gets on the elevator.
He grabs her bag.
You see that he grabbed at her. It was like,
this is just stupid.
It was unbelievable.
This is just stupid.
It is unfortunate.
It was stupid, and the whole and then you're watching it. It's not like you're just listening to her. It's all on film, on camera, and so you're watching it. So
there is a certain group of people who I'm not going to name who this group of people are, but I think you might just get it. They might be some of them might be stupid, but there is a certain group of people that this country has protected for so long that now, because they've been protected their whole life, they don't really see danger, or they don't. Do you see where I'm going?
It's the rose-colored glasses.
Because they've been protected so much for so long, it's sort of like they can't really grasp that you need to be careful in certain situations. And it's really strange to me. I don't understand why, because I know in my culture I have been taught to do things a certain way and be careful with this and don't do this, and like you said, be careful with car you go in.
Stranger danger.
Stay with the crowd and stay with the people that you came with. But there's certain people that just did not grow up that way, that just were not taught that way, and because of that, they've got blinders on as to danger. And in what world? Like, this situation is just really stupid.
It's stupid. That's really stupid.
And no one deserves to be treated a certain way, but in certain situations like that, you're like, you know what?
I think when she looked in hindsight, because she did say, you know, I couldn't believe after she saw the tape. I couldn't believe that she said, I couldn't believe that I never screamed, that it never dawned on me to scream.
Or to stop, not go any further.
Or, you know, but I was thinking flight. You know, she was trying to get away from him at several
She thought she was going to get into her apartment, close the door, and be done with it.
But not with him
now
at
he knows
the
where you
door.
live.
Well,
and see, that's what I thought.
And
now
he
that
stole
knows where
all of her money, her wallet.
He can go back.
He stole all her stuff, and so, you know, now she's, you know, she. Okay. We've concluded. Have we concluded that that was just that was an irresponsibly wrong thing to do?
But my question to that, not going into that, but in terms of safety, what would you do if, say, a driver did that? So a driver drops you off at home, but proceeds to kind of try to follow you to your door. So not necessarily.
You said they stopped in the lobby? Was this lobby a busy lobby?
Well, this was, when it was nobody on the lobby. No.
It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
I think about myself going to a private door. You know, that's what I thought about initially. As much as I catch Uber, and I'm getting out, and a lot of times I may have luggage or what have you, so it's taking me longer to get to my door than regularly. What would I do if the driver decided I'm going to jump out and try to rob them or force my way into their home? You know, things like that. And so I just said with rideshare, you have to be careful all the way around. You know, there's no one particular situation. Well, we just have to be so careful.
Use this opportunity to think about what you will do, because you know you never know, but you just have to be careful. You can't. I'm not saying. Well, you have to be careful, and we live in a world where bottom line that we just need to be careful. But yeah, that was very stupid on her part. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Can we talk about Game of Thrones now?
We can talk about Game of Thrones.
Yes, we can talk about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones now.
Let's talk about Game of Thrones.
Let's talk about it. Final season. So they say.
Yes.
First of all, who thinks it's really going to be the final season?
I think it is, because I think they're going to do a prequel. But I also want to tell you.
I do.
I want to ask you.
Ask me.
This show has been on for 7 seasons. Is this the 7th or 8th season?
This is the
8th.
This is the 8th season. Okay. So I had like FOMO at first, because I was like, okay, everyone's like talking about Game of Thrones, and I want to know what the hype is all about. I want to watch. So I started from the beginning, and I started watching up to like season 1, episode like 7. I would like to know, how.
You stopped there? Okay.
I would like to know how this show got a second season, a third season, fourth season, up to an 8th season. If everyone tells me the first season is the hardest, just get through the first season. Well, if I couldn't get through the first season, how did we get to a season 8?
So it's not even the hardest.
Because it's all about politics. The magic and the dragons hasn't even come up, and it's incest and all this craziness. And I'm thinking, I'm lost. I don't know what's going on, but everyone's just like, get through it. So if everyone was feeling the same way that I'm feeling the first season.
No. I don't even think it's the get through.
But what does everyone keep telling
I don't know why people are telling you that, because it was the first season is good, the second. It's just so much exposition. Because they're teaching you, they do so much character building. Yeah. Like all the
Too much character building. It's so slow.
But it's all important. It's all important.
I wish I was one.
A lot of things that you look back on and kind of understand, you know, because they built it up to
exactly, which I get it. You can't start watching the 7th season and know what they're talking about, the references.
I didn't start
but
seeing
I don't
it till
understand how I'm going to
season.
get past the first, so I just gave up yesterday.
You didn't think you didn't like the people that you met so far?
It's moving too slow.
I actually like the costumes.
And it's very incestuous. Well, the costumes aren't that great
yet.
I
actually like the costumes, and the music was great, because there's a lot of music that I pulled out for shows.
Gory. So good.
Yeah. I don't know what half they're talking about. Okay, so I'm going to tell you.
Oh, you got to watch it with subtitles.
I will tell you that the last thing I saw, was kind of interesting. I mean, it was kind of cool the way they did it. I mean, like melting down a necklace and pouring hot. Yeah, now that's pretty cool. But it's too late for me. It's going to take It's going to take more time than I have, or that I'm willing to get.
It's a lot of time
to get to.
Well, but in all honesty, it's really not for everybody.
But I'm happy for you guys.
It's not for everybody. It's one of those shows that
I glanced at it one time, and it's just not for me.
It's like Star Trek. I can't stand it.
I can't stand it either. Or Star Wars.
I'm not one of those people.
I'm not a Trekkie.
But I'm not a Trekkie, but I'm all about like the
Game of Thrones?
What do you call those people?
So you're on a ship by yourself.
Anti-Trekkie.
No, the people.
No, there's millions.
Captain America.
No. You're on an island on this panel by yourself.
I'm all about Captain America.
We don't know anything about the show.
And so I didn't really realize. So you know they got that pop-up bar here that's the Game of Thrones, but my signature line on my email, my work email, is so Game of Thrones out. So it was kind of like my intro, right? So it has my name, it has my house, it has my everything. And what I realize now is that my clients are responding back. It's like, oh, you watch too. Oh, so now there is this death pool. There's a death pool that it's an office pool that's going around. It's almost like Super Bowl squares where it's everybody who's left, and you get to rate who you think is going to live, who's going to die, who's going to get converted, who's going to end up winning the Game of Thrones. Like, this thing is
it's international. You either like it or you don't.
Such nerds.
I don't know. I'm not
I'll take that.
I'm not as into it as you are, but I get it. I've seen enough to at least get it.
I'm happy for you, and let me tell you why. Because the same way that you've never seen one episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I knew you was gonna say
and
that.
I love, I feel that. So I support. I tried though. I really did try.
Game of Thrones.
And I keep trying. I tried like months ago, and then I tried again yesterday. And I just.
It's so good.
It's one of those things that you cannot leave it on and go into the kitchen.
You
you have to.
You haven't seen either one?
I have not watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
And like whatsoever, but they talk about it in the salon.
And you with your dialogue, like
you
with your like you like to talk. Like I could see you, and you like bringing out your SAT words. Like I know, I know it'd be your type. Like it's like a Tarantino type of dialogue, and I know you're into that kind of stuff.
Okay,
and it's kind of dark. It has, it's dark too.
My thing, I think I'm in line with you when it dawned on me, maybe you should give it a try. I think it was like in season 6, and I was like, I don't have the wherewithal to go back to season 1 and
I
try.
said the same
you know,
thing.
but I'm the same way with Scandal. Like I loved Scandal, and I loved season after season, and then some people were like, I don't know how you can get into that. Right. So you know, like you said, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
I'm over that too.
Yeah, but it is. I think it is the last season. I really do, because people have grown. And
I think it's the last season of the show, but I don't think it's the last. I think they'll go on to some spin-off or some prequel or something.
Yeah. Well, they've laid the foundation, and that's what makes the show so good.
Because there's no way that you got 17 million people watching on the premiere of the last season.
And you drop them off.
Yeah. You can't just leave those people. Exactly.
They did it with
Absolutely.
They also did it with Sex and the City, but
in Dallas.
But then they went to the movies and they did all that.
So maybe there'll be a Game of Thrones movie.
But they've laid the foundation for the prequel, for everything that happened in the past, but they didn't tell you. They kind of just whispered it to you. Right. So I agree. They could definitely do that, Riley, and then you'll get in on that.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
No, I want to. See, that's the thing. I really want to.
I'm
going to try some more.
If they bring on one of her favorite
subtitles.
If they bring on one of her favorite characters,
Kim K will mess around and be on that thing.
No, they could bring back Jason Momoa, and then I'll be happy.
But listen, I think he's coming back in this final season because they left the door open. You remember?
But
yeah, and he was at the premiere of for the show.
Aquaman.
Where'd he go?
Aquaman. Lisa
oh, that's right, Lisa
Bonet's
but he's Aquaman, so he was in Game of Thrones too.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
That's where we met him kind of for the first time.
Gorgeous.
Oh well, okay then. Maybe
gorgeous. That is the most beautiful man.
That's what made me want to watch it.
Okay.
So beautiful.
I didn't know that he was from a spinoff or he was from that whole.
Cow drag.
Okay, I didn't know that. So, Game of Thrones, ladies and gentlemen, it's the last episode. Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, here's today's moment of clarity.
Why don't I love who I see? If I keep hating who I see, I really can't love those who look like me. So I resolve conflict with these. Instead of articulating how I feel, I lose control of my emotions and kill. Yes, cause and effect is real, but I'm tired of allowing the traumatic effects that come with being a man in my skin to stop me from being who God made me within. I am, you are, fearfully and wonderfully made. I never was a nigger, but a niggas, a king, and it's time for me to reign. But I must get help so that I can heal and love myself again. I love you. I love you. You're my brother. I love you. I don't want to kill you anymore. I love you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Before we leave you today, we would love to invite you to send us any feedback you might have about the show to our Facebook page at WeSpeak, as well as our Instagram page at WeSpeak_the_Talk_Show. And if you'd like to see past episodes of the show, visit us on YouTube, keyword WeSpeakTheTalkShow, no spaces. As always, we thank you for watching and ask that you join us again when next we speak. As always,
thank you for watching
and ask.
Would you join us again
when next we speak?